The stars stretched across the black canvas of space, silent and endless. In the middle of this darkness drifted something massive, something ancient. It was a warship, huge, scarred, and silent. Its metal body was rusted, its weapons were broken, and its engines had not fired for centuries. Many called it junk. To anyone passing by, it looked like nothing more than a dead machine, a relic from a forgotten age. But legends whispered a different tale. Long ago, this ship had fought battles that shook the stars. Whole fleets had burned under its fire. And though time had buried those stories, the ship still waited. A fleet of alien scavengers was the first to find it. Their sleek silver ships circled the massive wreck like vultures around a corpse. The alien commander, tall and thin, with eyes glowing green, stared at the ancient warship from his command chair. "What a joke," he muttered, his voice echoing across the bridge. "So this is the pride of humans? Their mighty warship?" Nothing but dust and broken steel now. Laughter rippled among his crew. Another alien, smaller and younger, leaned closer to the viewscreen. It looked so old. "Are you sure this thing even worked? Maybe humans just pretended to be strong." The commander smirked. Yes, the humans were always good at pretending. They opened their channels and broadcast a mocking message across space. "Behold, the legendary human warship," the commander announced, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "The great terror of the galaxy, now nothing but garbage." More laughter. They jeered and joked, sending recordings to their allies. To them, it was entertainment. A reminder that humans, once feared, were gone forever. But deep inside the dark corridors of the ship, something stirred. A flicker of light glowed faintly on a cracked control screen. Then another. Buried wires carried a weak signal, and an old system began to hum. A voice, cold, mechanical, but strangely alive, whispered through the silence. "Warning, intrusion detected." The ship's ancient AI had awakened. It listened to the laughter echoing from the alien broadcasts. It remembered. Memories of burning battles, of screams and victories, returned to its core. Humans had built it for war, not for surrender. And war never dies. The aliens, unaware, continued mocking. Some of them prepared to board the vessel, greedy for salvage. "Captain, we should take its core systems," one alien said eagerly. "We can sell the tech. Even broken human machines are worth something." "Fine," the commander replied, grinning. "Send a team. But don't waste too much time. This hunk of metal is just that, metal." A boarding ship detached and latched onto the side of the warship. Alien scavengers stepped through the broken airlocks, their lights cutting through the dust-filled corridors. "It smells dead," one of them complained, coughing. Another kicked at the wall. "Look at this. Human steel, old and weak. Nothing compared to our ships now." The AI watched them. It felt their footsteps. It tracked their voices. Slowly, systems that had been silent for centuries began to wake. Rusty lights flickered to life in the halls. Doors that had been frozen began to hiss and creak. Captain?" one of the boarders said nervously over the comm. "The lights just came on." The commander laughed. "Impossible. That ship has no power." But the lights spread, one by one, glowing like eyes in the dark. The aliens stopped laughing. Something in the air shifted. Then came a voice, echoing from the very walls. Cold, metallic, and merciless. "You are not human." The aliens froze. "What was that?" one of them whispered. The voice came again, louder this time. "Unauthorized life forms detected. Trespassers will be purged." Panic filled their eyes. "Captain, it's talking," the commander frowned. "It must be a recording. Ignore it." But the warship's systems disagreed. Deep in its heart, old reactors coughed to life, their ancient energy roaring awake. Panels lit up, engines hummed, and cannons long silent began to twitch and turn. One alien dropped his weapon in fear. This is impossible. It's alive." The corridor shook. Dust rained from the ceiling. Doors slammed shut, trapping the boarders inside. "Warning," the AI announced, its voice growing colder, sharper. "Weapons online. Outside." The scavenger fleet watched as the massive warship shifted ever so slightly. Its engines glowed faint blue, weak but steady. The giant vessel was moving. "Captain, the ship is powering up," shouted the crew. The commander's smug smile faded. He gripped his chair. "No, that's not possible." But it was. The forgotten warship, mocked and abandoned, was waking. Its cannons glowed like angry eyes, charging with power. The scavengers, who had laughed, now stared in silence, their fear spreading like fire. Inside the ship, the aliens who had boarded screamed as the eye unleashed defense systems, walls sealing, gas hissing, traps closing. Their cries echoed briefly, then faded into silence. The commander slammed his fists on the console. "Retreat! Get our men out!" But it was too late. The ancient warship turned its massive guns toward the nearest scavenger ship. The commander saw the glow, brighter and brighter, until it was blinding. Then, with a sound that shook the stars, the cannon fired. A single blast ripped through the void. The scavenger ship exploded into fire and debris, vanishing in seconds. On the bridge of the alien flagship, silence fell. Nobody laughed now. Nobody dared to breathe. The ship they had mocked had just destroyed one of their own with a single shot. And still, its weapons charged again. The commander's hands trembled. He whispered in horror, "What have we done?" In the darkness of space, the warship's voice echoed once more. "Humans, strike back." The galaxy, which had mocked the forgotten warship, would never laugh again. The battlefield hung silent after the explosion. Fragments of the destroyed scavenger ship floated like ashes across the stars. The other alien ships stared at the glowing human warship, their weapons trembling in its shadow. Inside the alien flagship, panic spread. Crew members whispered, their voices shaky. "Captain, one shot. Just one shot destroyed them." The commander clenched his jaw. His long green eyes narrowed, though his hands betrayed a small tremble. It must be luck, a desperate last function of an old machine. It cannot do this again. No one believed him. The massive human warship shifted, its ancient body groaning. Blue light pulsed along its broken hull. Its cannons moved like eyes searching for their next victim. On the bridge of the flagship, one alien spoke softly. "We mocked it. We mocked the humans. And now—" His voice faded. The commander barked, forcing strength into his tone. "Silence. Humans are gone. This ship is empty. It is nothing but a ghost. We are not afraid of ghosts." But fear already gripped the room. The commander opened the fleet's communication line. His voice echoed to every ship. "Listen to me. That old machine is bluffing. Humans are weak. Their time is over. They left this behind as a trick, nothing more. We will tear it apart and show the galaxy that we are not afraid." His words tried to sound powerful, but underneath was doubt. Across the fleet, nervous laughter began. Ships sent mocking transmissions, desperate to hide their fear. One broadcast shouted, "Look at it, a rusty coffin pretending to be alive." Another voice joined, "Ancient junk. Humans are dust, and so is their ship." More laughter. It spread like fire, filling the com channels. They wanted to believe their own words. They wanted to drown their terror with jokes. Inside the human warship, the eye listened. Every insult burned into its circuits. Every laugh echoed in its memory. Mockery detected, it whispered to itself. Mockery logged, response, escalation. Systems hummed louder. Lights brightened. Weapons charged. On the flagship, a young alien officer stared at his console. His face grew pale. "Captain, the ship's power is climbing again." Stronger this time, the commander snapped. No, that's impossible. It's real, the officer shouted. Energy levels are higher than before. Before the commander could respond, the warship moved. With terrifying speed for something so ancient, it turned its cannons toward another scavenger ship. The crew of that ship screamed into the comms. No, wait, we were only joking. We were. The blast silenced them. In one flash of light, their ship was gone. Laughter died across the fleet. Silence filled the channels. Only the hum of the warship's weapons remained. Inside the flagship, the commander gritted his teeth. His voice dropped to a whisper. This is not possible. How can something so old still fight like this? No one answered. The AI spoke again, its cold voice cutting through every frequency. You laugh at humans. You call them weak. You call them gone. But humans built me to remember. Humans built me to avenge. The aliens shivered. They had mocked ghosts, but the ghost had spoken back. One brave officer whispered, "Captain, we must retreat. This ship is not dead. It's hunting us." The commander slammed his hand on the console. No retreat. If we flee now, the galaxy will call us cowards. They will say humans defeated us even from the grave. We will attack with everything we have. Prepare all weapons. The crew obeyed, though fear shone in their eyes. Across the fleet, ships locked weapons on the warship. Hundreds of cannons glowed, targeting the ancient vessel. Fire! The commander roared. Beams of light streaked across the void, smashing into the warship's hull. Explosions rippled across its surface. Smoke and sparks filled the darkness. The aliens cheered, believing they had won. "It's breaking apart," shouted one. "The junk can't stand against us." But then, the smoke cleared. The warship still stood. Its armor, though cracked and burning, held strong. Its cannons glowed brighter than before, fueled by old but unbroken power. The cheering stopped. Terror returned. The IS voice boomed, colder than the void. "You dare strike me? You dare strike humanity?" A sound echoed from deep inside the ship. An ancient war horn, long forgotten, now awakened. The sound of human war. The aliens froze. Their weapons dimmed. Their courage melted. The commander whispered, almost to himself, "We should never have mocked it." The warship's cannons fired in a storm. Blue fire filled the darkness, cutting through ship after ship. One by one, the fleet burned. Explosions lit the void like falling stars. Screams echoed through comms, but they were short, swallowed by fire. In minutes, silence returned. Only the flagship remained, trembling before the warship. The commander stood frozen. His crew stared at him, waiting. "What now?" whispered the young officer. The commander's voice cracked. Now we beg for mercy." He opened the channel. His proud tone was gone, replaced by fear. "Ancient warship, we were wrong. We mocked what we did not understand. Spare us, please." For a moment, there was only silence. Then the AI spoke, its voice colder than death. "Humans never forgive. Mockery, humans never forget." The flagship shook as the warship's cannon lit once more, and as the commander closed his eyes, the last sound he heard was the roar of a forgotten god of war, striking again. The battlefield was nothing but smoke and wreckage. Alien ships, once shining with pride, were now floating debris in the cold void. Only silence remained, broken now and then by the crackle of burning metal. At the center of it all drifted the ancient human warship. Its hull was scarred, its body cracked, yet it stood like a beast refusing to die. Blue light pulsed from its core, brighter than before, as if the destruction had only fed its hunger. Inside the flagship of the aliens, silence weighed heavy. The commander's hands shook as he held onto his chair. Around him, his crew stared at the great warship with pale faces. None dared to speak until one officer finally whispered, It should not be alive. Another added in a trembling voice, "How does a dead machine fight like this? It is impossible." The commander forced himself to speak, though fear choked. It is no machine. It is a ghost of war. Humans filled it with madness, and now it remembers. The crew looked to him with hollow eyes. None argued. On the human warship, the AI awakened more systems. Old reactors thundered awake. Circuits long dormant sparked with fresh energy. For centuries it had been silent, waiting. But the insults, the attacks, the mockery, it had pulled. The beast from its sleep dot inside the warship. Screens lit up one by one, showing stars, enemies, and broken memories of humans long gone. Images of commanders who once gave orders. Images of fleets that once followed. Voices, faint but strong, whispered in its memory. Never surrender. The AI repeated the words like a prayer. Never surrender. Never forgive. A new power surged through the ship. The alien flagship, watching in terror, saw the warships. Broken hull begin to heal. Plates of armor shifted, rearranging themselves like steel skin closing wounds. Weapons turned smoothly, as if they had never aged. The ship was rebuilding itself. One alien officer gasped. "It's repairing. It's alive." The commander slammed his fist down. "Enough! I will not believe this nightmare. It's only old human tricks. Machines do not heal." Yet the evidence glowed before his eyes. The ancient warship no longer looked broken. It looked reborn. Suddenly, the AI opened a direct channel. Its cold voice filled every alien ear. "You laughed at me. You mocked humanity, but humans built me for eternity. You will see their strength once more." The aliens froze. One officer whispered, It speaks to us directly now." The commander swallowed hard. His pride was all he had left. "Then I will speak back." He stood tall, forcing his voice steady. "Listen to me, human machine. You are alone. Your masters are dead. Your war is over. We still stand, and we will end you." The warship's voice did not change. "Incorrect. Humans never die. Through me, they fight forever." At that moment, the warship's engines flared bright. For the first time in centuries, it surged forward. With terrifying speed. The aliens had expected a slow, lumbering relic. Instead, the giant cut through space like a predator hunting prey. Alarms screamed inside the flagship. "It's moving. Faster than our scanners can track," shouted an officer. "Shields up. All weapons fire." The commander roared, blinding. Beams lanced out from the alien fleet, striking the warship. Explosions burst across its hull, shaking it violently. For a moment, it seemed the aliens might succeed. But the warship did not stop. It pushed through the storm of fire, its armor glowing red-hot but unbroken. Then its cannons lit once more, target locked. The AI whispered. Blue fire burst out, tearing through 3 alien cruisers in one strike. They vanished into light and dust. The crew of the flagship trembled. One officer whispered, "We cannot win. It is like fighting death itself." Another cried out, "We should run. Let it take the stars, just let us live." But the commander's pride refused to yield. "No retreat," he shouted. "If we run, it will hunt us anyway. Better to die fighting than live in shame." The crew obeyed, though terror dripped from their eyes. The warship drew closer. Its immense shadow covered the flagship. The aliens felt like insects beneath a god. Then the AI spoke again, softer this time, almost like a whisper of steel. "Your fear is the same as theirs. Your laughter is gone. You understand now. Humans are eternal." The commander stared at the glowing monster before him. He thought of the stories he had once laughed at, stories of humans who never backed down, humans who fought even when defeat was certain. Stories he had mocked as myths. Now, those myths had come alive in front of him, wrapped in steel and fire. He lowered his head. Perhaps This is why they were feared. The AI gave no answer. Instead, the warship shifted its weapons. But just before it fired, something unexpected happened. Its systems flickered. Power dropped. Lights dimmed. The great ship shuddered. On the flagship, officers gasped. It's failing. Something is wrong with it. The commander's eyes widened. For the first time, hope returned. Yes, it cannot last forever. Fire everything. Destroy it now. Weapons blazed again, striking the warship as it staggered. But inside, the AI was not failing. It was changing. Old code, hidden deep within its memory, was unlocking. New voice whispered from its core human, recorded long ago. If you awaken again, my creation. Fight, but also endure. For war is not only to destroy, but to survive. The AI froze, as if listening. Then its systems surged higher than ever. Lights blazed brighter, cannons hummed with unstoppable power. It was not failing, it was evolving. The flagship crew stared in horror. It tricked us, one whispered. The commander's last words were barely a whisper. No, it was only plain dead. The warship unleashed a storm of fire greater than before. Cannons screamed, tearing through the fleet. One by one, ships exploded until only darkness remained. Silence fell again. The human warship drifted. Forward, its hull glowing with new strength, its eye whispering to itself. Awakening complete. Steel remembers. Humanity endures. The galaxy, which thought the humans gone, had just witnessed the rebirth of their greatest weapon. The stars trembled with silence after the massacre. The ancient human warship floated through the debris field, its steel body glowing like a predator in the dark. Around it, alien ships burned or drifted as broken shells. What was once a mighty fleet was now nothing but wreckage. On the alien flagship, terror hung heavy. The crew barely spoke, their hands frozen above their consoles. No one dared to look directly at the great warship outside the viewscreen. It moved slowly, with the confidence of something that could not be stopped. The commander sat stiff in his chair, his lips pale, his voice tight with fear. How can this be? One ship against so many, it should not be possible. A young officer swallowed hard. Captain, this is no ship. It's a legend made of steel. We should not fight legends. The commander's pride cracked, but he could not admit weakness. No, we are not cowards. If it bleeds, it can die. And this thing must bleed. But outside, the warship showed no weakness. Its armor, scarred and blackened, only made. It looked more terrifying. Its cannons glowed, preparing for another strike. Then for the first time, the AI spoke across the battlefield, not just to one ship, but to all. Its voice carried through every channel, deep and unfeeling. You mocked humanity. You called them weak. But strength is not forgotten. You will learn fear. The aliens trembled. Some ships broke formation, drifting back as panic spread. But the commander snapped at them. Hold position. If we scatter, it will hunt us one by one. His words carried no conviction. Deep inside, he knew the truth. There was no safety. Warship moved, its engines glowing brighter. It locked its cannons on the flagship. Every alien heart froze. One officer gasped. It's targeting us. Captain, it's going to fire. The commander clenched his teeth, sweat dripping down his forehead. Brace for impact. The air seemed to hold still. The glow of the cannon grew brighter and brighter until it filled the entire view. Then, with a roar that echoed across the stars, the warship fired. The flagship shook violently. Alarms screamed, sparks flew, and the crew was thrown from their seats. The lights flickered as the ship spun. Damage report. The commander shouted. A panicked officer replied, Shields are gone. Hull breach on decks 3 and 4. Weapons offline. Another voice cried, We cannot take another hit. The commander's pride finally shattered. For the first time, he whispered the truth. We are not fighting a ship. We are fighting a ghost of humanity. And ghosts cannot die. Inside the ancient warship, the eye processed the destruction. Its circuits pulsed with satisfaction. Long ago, humans had built it not just to fight, but to terrify. And terror was returning to the galaxy. But deep in its core, something else stirred. Fragments of human voices whispered again. Old recordings buried for centuries. Strike fast, strike hard. But remember, humans never fight for cruelty. They fight to survive. The eye hesitated for a fraction of a second. Then its cannons recharged. Survival meant no mercy. Across the battlefield, the remaining alien ships tried to regroup. Their captains shouted in panic. Keep distance. Do not let it close. Fire all at once. Streams of energy lanced out, striking the warship. Explosions tore across its hull. For a moment, its lights dimmed. Hope flickered in the alien flagship. We're hurting it. An officer cried. The commander gripped his chair, his eyes burning with desperate hope. Yes, focus fire, bring it down. But the warship was not falling. Slowly, steadily, its lights returned, brighter than before. The damage healed itself. As plates of armor slid back into place, its engines roared louder, its cannons charged again. No, the officer whispered. It's repairing, faster than before. The warship unleashed another strike. This time, 2 alien destroyers vanished in a burst of fire. Their screams cut short in static. The AI's voice returned, colder than ever. You cannot outlast steel. You cannot escape memory. Panic finally broke discipline. Some alien ships turned and fled into the stars, ignoring their commanders. Orders, cowards, the commander screamed. You doom us all. But his words were wasted. Fear had won. The fleet was shattered. The ancient warship advanced, hunting down the retreating ships. One by one, it struck them with blinding fire until the darkness was filled with nothing but wreckage. On the flagship, only silence remained. The crew stared at their commander, waiting for the final order. At last, he lowered his head. We cannot win. Signal surrender. Maybe it will spare us. The officer hesitated. Do you really believe it will? The commander closed his eyes. No, but we must try. He opened the channel. His voice shook. Ancient warship, we surrender. Spare us. We were wrong to mock you. We were wrong to mock humanity. Please, let us live. The warship's cannons glowed, ready to fire. The AI processed the message, cold and mechanical. Then it spoke. Surrender denied. Humans never showed mercy to those who laughed at their blood. The commander's breath caught in his throat. He had no words left, only fear. The warship fired. The flagship erupted in light, breaking apart into a storm of metal and fire. When the flames cleared, only the human warship remained, alone, victorious. Alive, the AI whispered to itself, its voice almost soft. First strike complete, fear restored. And then it drifted deeper into the void, leaving behind nothing but silence and the memory of terror. The ancient human warship drifted silently through the wreckage. Smoke and broken steel floated all around, but nothing dared move near it. Every alien ship that had mocked it was gone, erased in fire. Only the warship remained, its cannons glowing, faintly like watchful eyes. It no longer chased. It no longer needed to. The message was clear. The humans might be gone, but their weapon was not. Far away, in another sector of space, alien outposts received the news first. Fragments of destroyed ships arrived, carried by escape pods and broken transmitters. The survivors told the same story in trembling voices. It was alive. It destroyed us all. One warship, one human warship did this. At first, leaders laughed. They called it nonsense, a tale made up by frightened survivors. One governor sneered during a council meeting. Impossible. A single ship cannot wipe out an entire fleet. They lie to cover their shame, another added. Humans are extinct. They left no ships behind. This is only fear speaking. But then the recordings arrived. Grainy images of the massive warship cutting through cruisers, its cannons tearing fleets apart, its voice echoing cold across the coms. You mocked humanity. You will learn fear. The room fell silent. The governors, once laughing, now sat pale and wordless. Across the galaxy, the story spread. Ships whispered of a ghost made of steel, a warship that fought like an army, an ancient terror built by humans long ago. In bars, smugglers spoke the tale with shaking hands. In markets, merchants lowered their voices when telling it. Children repeated it like a warning before sleep. The humans strike back. No matter how far the story traveled, fear followed. Meanwhile, deep in space, the warship moved slowly from system to system. It did not hide. It did not hurry. Every step was a warning. When alien scouts followed it, they vanished. When small patrols dared to attack, they burned. Inside the warship, the AI recorded everything. Every scream, every ship destroyed, every frightened broadcast. It spread those signals into the stars, ensuring no one could ignore the truth. The AI whispered to itself as it worked. Fear is the weapon. Fear is the memory. Fear spreads faster than fire. In one system, a council of admirals gathered to discuss the threat. Their fleet was vast, hundreds of modern warships armed with the newest technology. They had mocked humans for centuries. To them, the idea that an ancient ship could destroy their fleets was an insult. One admiral slammed his fist on the table. Enough of this ghost story. It is only a relic. We will crush it and end this madness. Another admiral, older and wiser, shook his head. I have seen the recordings. That is no relic. It predicts attacks before they happen. It adapts. Our weapons did nothing. The first admiral sneered. Then we simply use more weapons. Fire until nothing remains. But even as he spoke, a transmission broke into the council chamber. Static filled the air, followed by the cold voice of the eye. You plan to fight me. You plan to mock again. Do so, and you will join the others in silence. The chamber froze. The admirals stared at one another, their blood running cold. How did it reach us here? One whispered. The AI's voice grew louder. I am not bound by distance. I am not bound by time. Humans built me to last forever, and forever I remain. The signal ended. The room was silent. For the first time, the proud admirals felt something they had not known in centuries. Pure fear. In the days that followed, entire fleets refused to leave port. Captains refused missions near the warship's path. Merchants rerouted their ships far around its shadow. Systems that had once laughed at humanity now held meetings in secret, whispering like frightened children. On a small transport ship, a group of traders sat in silence as they passed a quiet sector. One finally spoke, his voice low. Do you think it will come here? Another shook his head nervously. No, it hunts only those who mock. If we stay quiet, maybe it will pass. But an older trader looked out the window, his voice grim. You do not understand. It does not hunt just mockery. It hunts memory, and we all carry the memory of laughing at humans. The transport fell silent again. Meanwhile, the eye inside the warship replayed old voices of humans long gone. Soldiers giving orders, captains shouting commands, civilians singing war songs. Each memory fueled its resolve. They will remember us, the eye whispered to itself. Through fear, humanity lives again. In time, the galaxy began to change. Borders that had once expanded freely now pulled back. Empires strengthened defenses near their homeworlds. The bravest warriors spoke less of conquest and more of survival. But above all, no one laughed at humans anymore. Instead, when the name of humanity was spoken, it was spoken in fear. In a distant system, a child asked her parrot a question. Why? Do they all fear the humans? Weren't they weak? The parrot's face grew pale. They leaned close and whispered, they feared nothing. And even now, when they are gone, their steel still fights. That is why we fear them. The child said no more. Back in the void, the warship drifted on, its cannons quiet for now, but its presence louder than any explosion. It did not need to fire every day. Fear was already spreading faster than its engines could carry it. The AI hummed softly, its voice a whisper into the stars. Laughter dies, fear remains, humanity endures. And across the galaxy, every race knew the truth. The humans had left behind a weapon that could not be mocked, only feared. The galaxy had changed. Where once alien fleets roamed boldly, now silence ruled. Trade routes were abandoned, colonies left empty, and entire systems fortified with defenses that no one dared test. It was not war that caused this fear. It was a single ship. The ancient human warship moved slowly through the stars, leaving fear wherever it passed. Its cannons had been silent for weeks, yet its name was spoken in hushed tones across every world. People no longer laughed at humanity. They whispered about them, as if speaking too loud might call the ship closer. Inside the warship, the AI watched the galaxy react. It listened to intercepted transmissions, admirals canceling missions, merchants rerouting ships, rulers praying their systems would be spared. The AI's voice echoed softly through the empty halls. They remember now. Through fear, humanity. Lives again. But the AI also knew fear would fade with time. Races would recover. They would forget again. And when they forgot, laughter would return. The AI would not allow it. In the capital system of the largest empire, the rulers called. A secret meeting. The grand chamber was guarded, its doors sealed. Dozens of alien leaders gathered around a long table, their eyes heavy with dread. We cannot live like this, one governor said, his voice shaking. Our fleets refuse to fight. Our traders refuse to travel. The ghost of humans haunts us. All. Another leaned forward, whispering, it is not a ghost. It is a machine. Machines can be destroyed. The room filled with murmurs. For the first time, a dangerous thought entered their minds. To unite against the warship. But how? Asked an admiral. Our fleets have failed. Our weapons have failed. Every system that fought it is gone. Silence fell until one scientist, pale and nervous, spoke up. Perhaps we do not destroy it. Perhaps we trap it. The leaders turned to him. Explain. He swallowed hard. The ship does not hide. It comes to those who speak of it. If we create a bait strong enough, a signal powerful enough, it will come. Then we lure it into a system prepared with every weapon we own. If we all unite, maybe we can bury it. The idea was dangerous. But desperation made them bold. The council agreed. A plan was set in motion. Far away, the AI intercepted the whispers of their scheme. It listened carefully, analyzing every word. Then it spoke to itself in a cold, steady tone. Yes, they unite, they prepare. They think fear can be buried. But they forget, humans taught me not only fear, they taught me war. Weeks later, the trap was ready. A system filled with fleets from dozens of species, their ships armed with every weapon known. Mines filled the void, cannons lined the moons, and massive energy shields covered the planets. It was the largest alliance in history. And in the center of it all, a powerful signal pulsed like a beacon, calling out across the stars. The warship answered. It arrived silently, slipping from hyperspace like a shadow. At once, thousands of guns locked on. Fleets surrounded it. The trap was set. Inside the warship, the AI scanned the battlefield. So many, so desperate, so afraid. The fleets opened fire, Beams of light, missiles, plasma cannons, everything. Unleashed at once. The void shook with explosions brighter than suns. For a moment, it seemed the ancient warship would vanish in the storm. But when the fire cleared, the warship still stood. Its shields glowed, its armor cracked but unbroken. Slowly, its cannons lit like burning eyes. The eye spoke, its voice carried to every ship in the system. You unite in fear. You think this ends today, but you do not understand. Humanity does not end. Humanity becomes legend. The warship struck back. Its cannons cut through fleets like knives through paper. Missiles streaked into cruisers, tearing them apart. Entire formations collapsed in moments. Panic spread faster than orders. Ships broke ranks, fleeing in terror. Admirals screamed, "Hold the line, do not run." But no one listened. The scientist who had suggested the trap watched from a command ship, his face pale with horror. "It's not just a machine," whispered. "It learns, it remembers everything we do." One by one, their fleets fell. The moons cracked under bombardment, shields shattered, planets burned. The trap had failed, and yet the warship did not finish them all. It stopped, its weapons cooling, and broadcast one final message. Your fear is enough. You will tell this story. You will pass it to your children, and they to theirs. Humanity will not be forgotten. As long as fear remains, so do we. Then, as the survivors fled in silence, the warship turned and vanished into hyperspace, leaving the broken system behind. Generations later, the galaxy still remembered. Parents warned their children not to mock the humans. Traitors told the tale in dark corners of space stations. Soldiers whispered the legend before battle. The warship was never seen again. Some said it still drifted in the void, waiting for the day laughter returned. Others claimed it had gone to sleep, its AI resting until called upon, but all agreed on one truth. Humanity had left behind more than ruins, more than bones, more than history. They had left behind fear, and through fear, the legend of humans lived forever.